hit go live on both things at the same time. So, goodness. I am going to share this out because I know that some people were saying that they weren't getting notified when I went live. So, we're going to just share it. 3, 2. Hello, hello. I am sharing this out real fast. All right, how are you? Thank you for the heart, me. Goodness. I have not gotten ready yet. I just changed shirts. It was like, let's roll. Because as you know, today was a day. So I'm just like, it is what it is. And yeah. I will say one thing that I love about what I've been doing lately, even though I don't like it because it feels rushed and panicked and whatever, I am doing the thing. You are correct. One thing that I love about it in a way, though, is that I am spending, like, when I'm looking at it, I'm like spending time, like, I have to copy down all of the stuff. So, like, I'm refreshing my memory on like what I've created and stuff. And so it like there's like a little bit of me that gets excited about it, right? Like re-excited about it because it's like, okay, that was good and that was good. And so there's reasons and things that we're doing stuff like this, I guess. Also, if I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. If I can do this crap, so can you. All right. Yeah, that is where we're at right now in life. Like if I can do this from my messy freaking bathroom with my mirror as a whiteboard over there, and yeah, y'all like you guys can do it too. It's a choice, but you can do it. So this is day 2 of the 5-day content batching, content creation challenge. So yesterday, your only goals were to pick one like theme for the week, 2 to 3 talking points, and then start whether it's a notebook, whether it's like a sheet of paper, whether it's in your, like I do mine on my notes app in my phone. And anytime I see something that like I like generally I save trending audios that I like. That I will save in the app itself so that I can get to it. But I will write it down what it is and what my idea is next to it, because how many times have you guys had an idea for something and then you saved it, and then when you came back to it, Amy, thank you for the heart me. When you came back to it later, it was like, I don't remember why. I mean, it's good, but I don't remember what my idea was to go with it. So I always, happy Tuesday, I always put in the thing in my notebook or my notes app. I always write like an idea or two that I had for it, or what, what caught my attention about it or whatever. So that was yesterday. Today, I'm telling y'all right now, today is going to be the best day, okay? Because, and this is across both of my challenges that I'm doing, right? Because I'm doing the one in the group too. And today, the only thing that we're doing across both of them really is removing friction from being able to do what you're trying to do. Okay, so if you know, you know. If you are a neurodivergent brain, you know how sometimes we get these ideas and we're like, yes, I'm going to do this. And then we realize that this requires 17 steps, and 17 steps just feels like a lot today. So we get all excited and then we're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And how many times have I'll do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and I'll do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and I'll do it tomorrow, right? Because there's just certain things that were like, if I have to spend all this energy getting things set up, getting things figured out, coming up with mental energy to figure things out, to script things out, to do all of the things, by the end of the day, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm done. And we can do that on the other hand too, okay? I know that there's somebody in this room that I've talked to before that is having kind of a similar problem to what I do sometimes, which is where you film so much content, but then you don't have, like, there's now you have it all, but now you have to do something with it. So I'm gonna do kind of a back and forth on this, okay? Because I feel like sometimes we have the energy to film stuff, but then we don't have the energy to go through and figure out what we're gonna do with it. So we got that taken care of too today. So we're talking about micro batching, okay? And so when you think about like why we don't do things, a lot of times it's because we're overwhelmed with either decisions or all of the setup and things that have to be done, right? That's why we said, what do we say? One theme for the week, and then 2 to 3 talking points throughout any videos you're going to create that week, right? And you could mix it up and you could match it. There's all different kinds of ways that you can create with those pieces of information, right? We just, and that's where we can get more creative because now we're not stuck like trying to figure out which of 40 different directions we're going to go. We have a direction and we have even like a micro direction from that, right? So now we can start playing with different formats and different lengths. And are we going to talk to the camera? Are we going to do text on screen? Like there's a lot of things that we can decide and all of that. So this is what I want you to do for today. For today, this is the simplest. It does not get any easier than this, Danny. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. So today we're going to do like 3 to 4 things, okay? One, we're going to decide where we're filming. Just decide. You need someplace that has good enough light. Thank you for the heart, me. Good enough light. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for getting our brains turning and doing the thing, right? Thank you for the roses. Good enough lighting. If you want a particular outfit, if you want a particular prop or something to go with it, grab that, get that ready. And then we're not going to script, okay, y'all. This blows my mind that like in all of my research and all the stuff that I came up with, like this is like the truth of a lot of us, okay? When we go live and we come on here and we chit chat and we talk to people and whatever, it generally, the conversation flows as long as we have something to talk about. So something with a simple background too, yes. And that is true. That is true. Literally, I have been for the last, I don't know, like month, I've been doing everything from my bathroom. So like that's like a thing, right? I've been doing everything from my bathroom, and it does get people to say like, are you, like I had somebody say, are you like on the toilet? I'm like, no, I'm not on the toilet. Like I am literally just in the bathroom because it's the one place when my world is crazy, and it's crazy all the time. If y'all know, you know, okay? I homeschool, I'm in school, I run 5 different like groups and social media, and I'm doing TikTok shop. So like it gets crazy. Yes. Yes, very very true. Very very true. So as far as filming for videos, which is what we're talking about, content creation as far as either TikTok videos or other apps, you just need a place with good enough light. And you need, like I said, if you're going to use any props in your videos, have them. And You don't have to. Like, that's just the thing. It can be super simple, especially when you're starting out. And I know some of us are like, well, I've been doing this for a while and I feel like I should be, you know what? If you have stopped for any length of time, it's not like you're a newbie, but you're not used to it anymore if you've taken a break. So you need to get yourself back in. Think about like when you go in a swimming pool, okay? And you know how when you go in the swimming pool, it's like you're like really cold, right? And you get in and maybe you jump all the way in and you take those couple of minutes to like get used to it and then you're good. But then if you get out and you sit in the sun for 30 minutes or 45 minutes and you dry off, if you get back in, you're going to have to go through the acclimation process all over again. It might be a little easier, but you're still going to have to acclimate to it. So give yourself the grace of allowing yourself to just kind of like have those moments, right? Have that like intro time for a week or two. Get yourself used to it again. And we are removing all of the boundaries, right? We talked about one theme per week, a couple of different talking points on it. That's it. So we're not overwhelming ourselves with 25,000 different ways that we could go in different directions. Now we're looking at, okay, we have this little bit. Now we're looking at content like, am I going to do a talking head? Am I going to do text on screen? Am I going to do a longer form and then break it up and have more? Like, those are your decisions, right? And you can just do what you feel like you have the energy for in the moment. If you feel like, I really don't want to be on screen that much, you know what? Do some B-roll and throw some text on it, and that's fine. But we need to be, like I said, in a place with some decent lighting and, whatever we're going to do in that, right? So we don't need super aesthetic, like, surroundings, okay? You need a place where your brain feels safe and cozy and able to talk if that's what you're going to do. If you're going to do a talking head or if you're going to do any kind of voiceovers or anything like that with stuff, you need to feel like you're in a safe place to do that. Because if we're like you wouldn't, even if you had like a microphone that was noise canceling and whatever, you wouldn't try to do that in the middle of the mall. Like, you wouldn't try to do a voiceover in the middle of the mall. You would want to go into a room where you're by yourself, where you can think, where you don't have distractions. And that's kind of what we have to get our brain into, a place where it doesn't feel overwhelmed, where it doesn't feel like everybody's watching and now I've got all eyes on me and now I'm freaked out and now I'm going to stutter or now I'm going to, not do this right or whatever, right? Brain needs to feel safe and cozy in a place. Okay. We're looking for the minimum viable setup, good lighting, place to prop your phone up, the vibe that feels like, okay, I can have a conversation here. I can talk to y'all here. Like, and good enough lighting, right? I can't stress that enough. I know people keep saying good lighting, good lighting. If you wait all the time for everything to be perfect, like, it's never going to be there. I'm in my bathroom right now. I have bathroom lights which give me a pretty good lighting. If I wasn't here, I would be by my big door, my big like sliding door, and the sun would be coming in, or the light from outside. So another thing I will tell you, if you are doing talking head, if you are doing something and you're like, I want to batch, we're talking about batching content, right? So if we're talking about batching content and you want to batch content, but you're like, I don't want to be in the same thing for 5 videos, like, that just doesn't feel, it feels like I would feel self-conscious about that. If you don't feel self-conscious about that, roll with it, okay? Like, for real, roll with it. Nobody's really going to care. But if you are one of those people who's like, somebody's going to care, somebody's going to say something, I'll tell you what, you know how many times I'm in pajama bottoms and I just change my shirt and that's all you get? Like, I'm comfy from the waist down because you don't see me, right? Set up your phone where you can do that. Change your shirt and call it a day. It doesn't have to be a full outfit unless you're doing outfit of the day, but that's a whole, if that's something that you want to do, then that is like a whole other thing. So, okay, so we are going to do 1 sentence scripts because, like I was saying before, a lot of times we get to this space where if we have a topic, we can flow with the conversation, okay? If I wasn't trying to deliver a challenge with specific talking points, you guys know I could sit here and talk about content creation, talk about business, talk about neurodivergent life. Those are things that like I can talk about. Those are my like niche items, my niche little topics. So I can talk about that kind of stuff. I can deliver that kind of content without needing a ton of bullet points and scripts and things like that. If we're talking short pieces of content, right? And we're talking like if you're going to do a shop video, that's an entirely different story. This is just for actual, like authentic to yourself, to your brand content. So you should be able to, it's like, okay, write down one sentence, right? So maybe my hooks, right, are like why neurodivergent moms can't stick to routines and how to fix it. If I have that talking point, and this is the cool thing about it, okay? Like, if you've ever watched me create content itself where I have a lot of talking points that I have to put in, I have to either start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, and like the editing gets like crazy, or like I have to look at what I'm doing to make sure that I can like see it and I'm getting everything right and stuff. But if you're talking about one point, man, I could tape that right there to the back wall and then I can see it. And then all I have to do is look at it. It's going to bring me back to what I'm supposed to be talking about, right? Even if I go on a tangent, I'm going to see it and I'm going to be like, okay, this is what we're supposed to be talking about. Yeah. So, why neurodivergent moms can't stick to routines and how to fix it. One tiny hack that saved me 3 hours a week. What batching looks like when you have ADHD. You only have to have the hook and then the rest flows, okay? So, those are some ideas. Obviously, your own brand is going to be what you guys are going to do things on, right? So, if you guys have questions, if you guys are like, I don't know what my hooks should be, drop your niche in the comments and I'll kind of try to give you a few here. If you're going to choose trending sounds, if you don't have to, I'm telling you right now, consistency is always better. Consistency is always better than trends. But if you choose to see, have like trends in there, have like your trend ideas picked out, okay? I'm telling you right now, this is what we're doing. We are setting ourselves up today so that when we do a batching tomorrow, there's like nothing left but filming. Put the shirt on or the outfit on that you chose, grab whatever props if you did one, all that stuff. Yes, 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 yes. So you're going to choose any sounds, trends, hooks, and make sure that this is the place where if you're going to spend some time figuring something out today, your hooks are important, okay? I'm not going to go into saying if your hooks aren't good, you're going to, it's not going to work or something like that, because again, we are just getting into we're just entering the race, right? You don't start off full speed when you're running a marathon. You jog, maybe you walk even for a little bit to get yourself just warmed up and ready to go. So the hook thing will get easier, it will get better. But again, if we can't even get ourselves to film content and we're trying to batch content so that we can work with energy levels again, because sometimes you just don't have the energy to do it But you could come up with the things. Like if today's a low energy day for you anyway, this is perfect because now I know that if I lay low during my low energy days, it's going to build up and I'm going to have a better, higher energy day. So if that's the case, if I'm getting the stuff ready, like it takes 2 minutes to pick out an outfit. It takes 2 minutes to, do some of that stuff, right? So just do the stuff and then you can look at yourself and you can say, okay, tomorrow, all I have to do is put on the stuff and get in my space, press that record button and work on one of my hooks there. So, but again, only if you feel like using something trending. You do not have to use trends. Again, consistency outweighs trends any day. So you are not supposed to feel productive today. Okay. Today in this challenge is not the day where you're going to go, I did it. I created whatever. Like that's not today. That'll be tomorrow. Today's day is I'm going to set myself up so that when tomorrow gets here, I'm ready to rock and roll and I don't have those like all of that stuff that's just in the way that I'm going to like trip over and I'm not going to do the thing. So we are just removing the friction. That's it. Success today is I found a filming spot. I have whatever I'm going to wear to film, any props that I need. I have 3 to 5 hooks written out that I can roll with. And if I want trending sounds or if I want to do something on trend, I have that written out. I have that idea written out. I know what I'm doing. That's it, guys. Like it's that simple. And I sat here and I was like, when I was going through this, I'm like, this almost feels like what you would tell somebody who's just starting out. And that's one of the reasons why I said what I said. It almost feels like it would maybe make people go, oh, I'm beyond that. I'm past that. But are you? Are you consistently creating content? Are you able to work within your energy cycles? Are you able to do the things, or are we still flailing like, like the image that I get is the person who's like, oh crap, I'm going to be late. Or I'm going to miss this whatever. And then they're like running to catch up to the train, the bus, the whatever, or, the car pulls away and they're grabbing onto it and trying to run while it's like already moving. And I feel like a lot of times that's what we feel like. We feel like we should be that car that's already moving because we've been doing this. I know a lot of us have been doing this for a while. But if you haven't ever had the systems in place because you're working on other people's systems, okay? You're working on people's systems where you're going by what all the gurus say, all the people. I'm going to tell you right now, when you have, a 200,000 followers or even 50,000, 25,000 followers, that in itself, for a lot of neurodivergent people, will give you some type of dopamine. If you create content and everybody's engaging on that, if you're making that consistently like that, it's going to give you the dopamine to keep going. This is one thing, and this is not on this, but I feel like I've had enough conversations with enough people that are in this room right now that I feel like it's okay for me to say this. I feel like a lot of times we get in this space where we're afraid of going ahead of ourselves too much because we're afraid that we won't be able to withstand the amount of energy we need to put out to keep up. And I'm going to tell you right now, yes, is it going to be work? All right. I want you guys to do 200 push-ups today. That doesn't sound like a very like a very easy task, does it? Most of us don't do even 10 push-ups in a day. Maybe if you're into exercising, you might do 20 or 30, but 200 is probably not a number that you do every day. But if you started at 10 a day and then added it and worked to 15 and 20 and 50 and 100 and up we go, right? So this is where if we set the systems now, we get our foundation set so that we take the friction away. We're batching content, working within what we feel like we can do, right? And then we're going to do simple editing so that you guys can get these things out and scheduled without a ton of, like, I don't know how many times I have just batched a bunch of content, but just had a really hard time with the editing portion of it. And we have a whole editing way of doing things. I know that I don't always follow my own advice. Okay, I'll be the first one to admit it. I think there's a lot of people out there that have really good advice for other people, but don't always follow it. So I don't feel that bad all the time. But if we get these systems set up, yeah, some days you're going to have a week where everybody's sick and it's hard. And then it's going to feel like you're climbing back up to even set up the system. But if you set up the system, you see how it works, you see how much easier it makes life, you're going to have an easier time climbing back up on that horse there, right? Because we already know that we're going to be more successful when we set ourselves up for success. But if we are trying to take our neurodivergent brains, it's like me trying to download an Android app on my iPhone and then going, but I know I can get this app. Like, it says that I can get it. It's for both versions. Why do I have to download the correct version? Because it works with the operating system. That's why. Because that operating system requires a different way of running that app. Okay, if you are a neurodivergent brain and you are still trying to run on other people who are, and they could be neurodivergent, but again, dopamine is so much. And if you're throwing so much out there and you're not seeing it in return, you're going to burn out because you're not getting what you need and you're putting all your energy out and you're doing so much. Like, if you can make it easy, make it simple, be consistent with it so you're not burning out, then you're going to have a lot more success. It might take a while, okay? I'm not going to lie. When we talk about content creation and we see all these people having so much success, almost everybody that I've talked to, and I know a lot of A-League creators on TikTok, okay? And a lot of them, if I've had time to talk with them, they've all said, like, people think we just blew up overnight, but do you know how many months I've spent working on this? Do you know, even if it was a month or two, it was a month or two of consistent daily hours of work in it. So if you don't have that much time, that much ability, that much, to do that, it's going to take longer. It's okay. Everybody is on their own time frame. But how many times have I seen it over and over and over again? We get so close to our breakthrough. We're like right there. And we get frustrated and we give up. We get frustrated and we take a break. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking a day off. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking a week off if you need it. The problem is, this is what neurodivergent taking a break looks like. I take the break I need. Now, when I come back, I feel like everything needs to change. I have a brand new vision. I have brand new goals. I need new branding. I put all this time and effort into redoing everything. And I'm basically starting from square one because now the algorithm doesn't realize what it's supposed to be realizing because we're doing something totally different. And then I work and I work and I work and I burn myself out and we're back to square one. back to square one. I'm going to ask you guys something. Of those of you who have been doing this for a while, and I know there's some of y'all out there, how many times have you rebranded that is something that is very, very similar to your old brand? It just feels more aligned, a little bit different, a little bit this, a little bit that. And we do a whole new rebrand and put so much time and effort and energy into things when we're really just tweaking it a little bit from where we were. I think I lucked out with the Neurocircus because I do talk about neurodivergence, but I can talk about anything within that with that like brand. But do you know how many times I wanted to rebrand the Neurocircus in the last year and a half? About 5 or 6. I've had moments where I'm just like, I like the Neurocircus, but it's not what I envisioned. It's not what I want. I want it to be this. This feels like it's going that way, and I want it to be this way. You know how many side things I've created? I mean, we have Neurocircus vlogs, Neurocircus, there's something else, Neurocircus Unfiltered, the Neurocircus Collective. Like, those are all technically rebrands if you want to go there. I've still kept the Neurocircus, right? But I'm adding little things, changing little things. Like, I'm guilty of it too. Because for some reason, I feel like if I just start everything over again, this time is going to be it. Things are never going to be perfect. Okay? There's always going to be work. There's always going to be things you don't want to do. Here's the thing. There's always going to be things you don't want to do in real life too. If you're not creating content as a monetization side thing, you're going to have to do something else, or you're going to have to give up something else. You choose your heart. And I used to hate that. I used to hate it when people would say that because I'm like, they don't understand. Like, they don't understand how much time and effort and energy I put in, but that's not the point. They had to put in their own time and their own effort and their own energy. And okay, maybe whatever way that they worked for them. But we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to look at things and be like, okay, like if my brain is neurodivergent and I just cannot jive with the structure and the speed and whatever that other people are telling me I need to do this in, then I need to switch it up. I need to find the system that works for me. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you are trying to create consistent, let's say it's 5 days a week content, okay? So you're going to film 5 videos in one day. If you have your ideas and you have whatever change of clothes you're going to do, you have all that stuff ready to go, it is so easy to just boom, 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 boom. I want to take a break. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to try to do one more, right? And I do that to myself sometimes. When I'm batching content, I will be like, when I did the beginning of the holiday playbook course, there was 26 3 to 6 minute videos that I did. I did them all in one sitting. I took, I think, 2 like 10-minute breaks in there, but I would go and then I would go and then I would go and then I'm like, I need a break. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to get a drink of water. I'm going to try to get 1 or 2 more in, because I know that I'm not pushing myself in a like quote dangerous way. Like, I'm not pushing myself in a way that's going to burn me out, but I'm also getting to a place where I'm like, you can go a little bit more than that. Like, I know we want to take a break. I know we want to like slow down. I know we want. Sometimes we have to get ourselves out of our comfort zone. Sometimes we have to make those steps. We have to do a little extra. We have to go, if you wanted to get to 200 push-ups and you could do 20 comfortably, if you never bumped that up, you would stay at 20. But if you said, I think I'm going to do 25 today, And then you're like, oh, I can do 25 pretty okay. I mean, a little sore, but I'll be all right. And then you do 25 consistently, and then you bump that up. That's life, guys. That is life. If we can come in from a space where we can be like, all right, I'm going to get myself to that space where I feel like I'm comfortable with it, and then I'll bump it up. But we have to keep bumping it up, because if you are not growing, you are going backwards. All right. What is the opposite of living? It's you know what that I'm not allowed to say on here. So if you are not moving forward and growing, you are going backwards. Breaks are fine. Breaks are important, and they're important to be put like built in. Okay. And that's one of the reasons we do this, because I can come up with ideas one day, I can get everything ready the next day, then I can film everything, and then I can figure out what I want, what different like editing styles I want to do, and take a day or two to edit, and then I can upload and schedule, and I have 5 days of content. And how much time did I actually spend actually creating content? 1 day. 2 days if you want to count editing, because editing is part of the creative process. But this is the other thing that I thought of. Okay. So if you know my situation, you know my situation. I'm in the bathroom because that's like one place that is not crazy in my life right now. So if I'm trying to do certain things, I have to be in a certain place where I can do that, right? So the bathroom now is my place because now I can do more work. But before, I tried to have a space. The editing part isn't easy, but we can make it simpler. Okay, we can make it simpler. Like, I will give you just a couple of little tips. Okay, I'm not going to give away the rest of the challenge or anything, but when you have like ideas, you can type those things out, like especially if you're editing on your phone or you're editing, like I have a MacBook and an iPhone, okay? So I can go back and forth between things pretty easy. I have a notes app on both. I can type out my like ideas for like I can be sitting there early in the morning and an idea come to me for a video and an idea come to me for a caption, and I could type that all out in my notes app, and then all I have to do when the time is right is copy paste and done. Like, those are some things where if you can do that kind of stuff, and then you always have like certain systems, right? Like when I do voiceovers, I always use captions, and then I always use the one, unless I'm like forget to do it for some reason. But I always use the one that puts the little emojis on there and whatever. And that is when people watch and they see that, that's cohesive to what my brand is. And so I can do that on every one, and it works, right? It's like, okay, I can add certain, I don't go out and try to find 200 different music clips to use. I have certain music clips that I use for certain things. And we're not like going overboard and trying to, oh, well, I need something different. I need something, unless it's trending, unless I'm doing something trending, I tend to use the same things. It helps me because I go, okay, this is the feeling I want for this video. I'm going to use this music. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to use these, this text thing. And then it makes the editing process easier. So we will talk all about that. I think it's day 4. So we'll talk all about that on Thursday. Tomorrow's going to be recording, guys. If you guys are following along with this, and I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't say this originally. Okay. But if y'all are here, you're here. Okay. And this is also on the tube of you. I'm dual casting right now to both. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say to any of my people who are playing along, who are commenting on my little carousel posts what they're doing. They're actually like playing along and doing the thing. I'm going to give y'all points, and somebody, one lucky person, is going to earn one free spot in Batch It, Brand It, Bank It for January. So Batch It, Brand It, Bank It is my like content creation. We batch content in there. We learn how to batch content, brand it to yourself, and then make the money off of it. So that is, I will let somebody in there as long as you guys are playing all out, which means tomorrow is filming day. If you guys are doing this and playing along, now, obviously, if for some reason you can't film tomorrow, but you film Thursday or you film Friday, you guys are going to have until next Monday to complete everything, but you need to complete it. And then whoever completes it, we'll look at points and stuff like that. I'll put a post up later today with that information, because I usually do that with challenges. I didn't this time because I didn't know who all was going to participate anyway, but I will do that, and I will play full out with you guys. As long as you guys play full out, we got this. So tomorrow, again, we're talking about filming flow. So we're not forcing anything with our filming. We're just kind of flowing with it, okay? If day one was clarity, which it was, day two is ease. It's setting yourself up to create from a calm nervous system. And let me tell you right now, energy speaks volumes. If you are creating from a chaotic, crazy nervous system where you feel stressed and tense and, oh my goodness, I have to get this stuff up, and people are going to feel it. I guarantee you, people are going to feel it. If you are creating from a loving, calm nervous system that knows what it's doing, that knows, the points that it's bringing across, that is passionate about those things. You can be passionate and excited and it come across totally different than if you're panicked and like freaking out in the background. So again, coming from a calm, loving nervous system, the creations are going to be like so much better. All right, guys. All right. That is day two. Do y'all have any questions? Let me know. Drop them in the comments. If you guys have any ideas, if you need ideas about like what your one sentence little ideas should be, let me know. And if you need ideas later, you can drop that. I'm going to post the carousel post probably in about 4 minutes. I have to upload it I have to move it from my computer to my phone to do it, but it's already created. So also, if any of you guys are thinking about doing any kind of challenges, things like that, and you want my tips on how I do stuff like this, like I have one carousel post per like challenge that I use. And then I just take that and like switch out days and change up the wording on it. Makes it so much simpler than having to like create one per day. And it feels on brand. It feels like, it's themed with the same thing. So you're seeing the same thing. So, alrighty, guys. I have 18 minutes to get ready for the 12-week year challenge over in my group. If you guys are not in my group and you want to be in my group, let me know. Or you can click the little thing in my what, which I'm not supposed to say, but yeah. Because that'll take you directly to it. And then you guys can sign up. We're working through the 12-week year. We're doing like a 5-day challenge to set it all up and do it neurodivergent style. It's been so much fun taking like other people's like stuff and then, okay, this is stuff that works and this is stuff that works, but let's tweak this and let's change that and add this in. And it's so much fun because like, it's stuff that people talk about that works, right? But when we move it into a more neurodivergent friendly atmosphere, it like changes the game so much. Alrighty, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. I will be back here again tomorrow at noon Eastern time. I will talk to you guys all later.